hello everyone. My name is Jean-Loup Comeliau. I work as a product manager for a company named W4. So here is the agenda that I would like to follow during my presentation. First, I will let you know who we are at W4 and what we do. Then I will make a market assessment. So of course, this is our market in Europe, but I think that from what we hear everywhere else, including here, and from analysts, I think this can be easily generalized. Then I will introduce one of the latest BPM products that we have launched last year, which is called W4 BPMN+. And we'll wrap up, and maybe we'll take a few questions after that. So who we are, W4, we've been an independent software vendor since 1996. Actually, we were the first company to offer workflow on the web. This is where we got our name from. So W4 stands for a World Wide Web Workflow. We are headquartered in Paris. Yeah, actually, before before coming to BPMN-ext, I was visiting a friend, and he said, 18 years of age, this is like a good bottle of French wine. So I thought, I mean, it was a joke, of course, but I thought the analogy was not that bad because, you know, we've seen how the market evolved, and we've gained maturity, and this is already today, I mean, this is today reflected in our offering, I think. So our main know-how at W4 is business process management, of course. This is why we are here today. Application automation, which includes the UI dimension. We will get back to this afterwards. And we have also a strong expertise in all kinds of information systems. We are also participating in many innovation projects, which are usually funded by the European Commission. We are part of some organizations, so let's mention here OMG, of course, and Workflow Management Coalition. And we are also part of the OMG MyWig group, Model Interchange Working Group, and I think Donnie will show a demo of this work just after this presentation. So we're very proud to be part also of this interchange demo. What we do, so we sell products. We sell BPM suites, and these products cover the whole spectrum of traditional BPM, including modeling, of course, execution and monitoring. We also provide services around our technology, including training, support, consulting, and of course, we also participate in IT projects with our customers. And we've also launched what we call W4 Store recently, which is an ecosystem dedicated at helping our customers succeed in their BPM projects. So it's an ecosystem in which you can find both technical resources, including functional and technical components that can be reused in your applications and that are available directly in the design environment. And W4 Store also offers a set of service resources, including consulting, technical and functional expertise, and also some more uncommon services such as financing. So now let's go to our market assessment. So what we see, the first thing we see when we speak to our customers is that usually they're not really educated about BPM software. Organizations know that they need BPM, but they usually don't use BPM software. Actually, this really takes us back to what Paul was saying last year. You know, he had this interesting figure, those figures saying, showing that actually the Moore's chasm was still ahead of us and that there was no mainstream adoption for BPM software. I think that's very true. And actually, after hearing yesterday's keynote speech, I wonder if this will ever come, because maybe processes will be replaced by, you know, intelligent agents. Well, we'll see. The second point in this market assessment is that actually, although we aim at mid-sized companies, we have a very segmented market. We are present in all sectors, and our projects vary from the very simple to the very complex one. from the very small to the very big. There's no really a typical kind of project. Every implementation is different. So we very often say that we do fit-to-purpose applications because it's really, each case is so different. The last, one of the main important points also in our market assessment is that we see many projects fail because of changing businesses, changing regulations. You know, I think Forrester coined those terms that, you know, a decade ago, you know, we had applications built to last, and now they need to be built for change. I think this is very true also. And of course, agile projects help overcome those changing, you know, they help cope with change management. But what we often see when we participate in those projects is that they actually miss agile tools. So, I mean, the methodology is very good, but they need more support from tools that are able to shorten iterations. Let's continue with the market assessment. So I need it now. I think you've all heard this. So time to market is very important. IT and business often do not speak the same language. So some people call that the moments of truth, you know, when IT finally delivers a product to business and business realizes how big the gap is between what they expected and what they actually have. So we keep seeing that very often. BPM in the cloud. Many BPM platform as a service products are available out there. But actually, what we see is that enterprise BPM projects in the cloud are actually few. I mean, really enterprise BPM projects here. I know that people like Effective are, you know, providing tools that will hopefully accelerate cloud migration. But today, because orchestrating services need to be located near to corporate data, I think this is one of the major breaks to cloud migration for BPM. Of course, we're also witnessing those big trends that, you know, that Gartner also says that is going to affect BPM, and with this, we're going to be doing intelligent business operations, intelligent BPM. So those trends are mobile, you know, everybody coming to work with his own mobile device and wanting to access business applications anywhere at any time. Social, of course, both at design time and execution time. Crowdsourcing is something interesting, still needs to be formalized, but I think it's also a very interesting feature. And big data, of course, because real-time and predictive analytics help make better informed decisions. So with all this in mind, we are trying to be pragmatic, and you know, we've come out with a product called W4 bpmN+. And here is how it works. So it's a really model-driven development tool, but it's different than what OMG calls MDA, because there's no actually code generation. We use an engine approach, which means that we create models, and then the models feed directly the engine, and the engine executes on the fly the models to generate the UI. So this is the founding principle. So the first step is to design the models. So we use BPMN2 to design the models, the process models. Of course, then we extend the scope of traditional BPM to data and GUI. So I will show you a demo after this, showing how this is possible. But we use class diagrams, you know, UML class diagrams to design the business data part. And after that, we generate, well, actually, we produce automatically a UI that we are able to customize in a very fine-grained way, and we are able to add business rules. And the second step is to execute the application. So we have a W4 engine, which provides different kinds of services, including BPMN execution services, data connectivity services, and UI services. And of course, the last step is we have admin tools and monitoring tools that allow to keep track of what's going on. And then we can run the application and improve it little by little through short, agile iterations. So let's go to the demo now. So let me show you how. So I recorded a video yesterday showing how to design a BPMN process. So we have this design tool which allows you to create swim lanes. So you put your nodes and your activities in the right swim lane according to whom you want to assign the activities to. So in this case, it's a purchase request example. We have a few tasks here with a gateway routing either to a validation of the budget or to a refusal. And then there's an end node. And if the budget is validated, there's either if it's accepted, then it's an approval. Otherwise, it's another refusal. Here, we are now transforming those activities into user tasks, whereas above there, this is a service task. And also, the last thing that we're doing here is we are assigning routing conditions to the nodes, to the gateways. So there's a default flow, and so this is how we basically design the process. Then now we are creating data objects. So in BPMN2, you have those data store objects which persist once the process instance is done. So request will be one of those data stores. We're now creating a validation object, which doesn't need to persist. So it's a simple data object. Now there's a order. Order will be also a data store. And it also will be needed to validate the budget. So now the validate budget is also outputting some budget information. So this is how you design the process. Now, if I start the composer, you see that we have actually the different dimensions of the application in here. So I showed the BPMN stuff. Now, there's also this data diagram, which is the one I mentioned before. It's a plain UML2 class diagram where you can add classes. And what you do is you describe your classes in terms of relationships, in terms of typed attributes. So for example, here is the order object that I'm going to be using in my application. So it's related to order items through a composition relationship, 0 to many, meaning that many order items can belong to the same order. Here is, for example, an association between suppliers and my order. So each time you do that visually, by creating new classes here, and you basically add attributes in there. So it goes quite quickly. It's pretty straightforward. The next thing that needs to be done is to make the process executable, because until now what I did is just draw the process. So the next step would be to go to my process definition, and I will actually go to this basic properties tab here and indicate that the process needs to be executable by setting this property here to true. Then I need to validate my process. So before validating the process, there are several things that I need to do. I need, of course, to assign users and groups to the different user tasks. So this is done here all through this property tab. So for example, anyone here can submit a request. It needs to be validated by the manager of the person who submitted the request. So this is how it was actually designed here. So this expression language here allows to navigate through the data. You have auto-completion features that help you type in those expressions. Same thing for this validate budget. Needs to be someone from the purchase department who actually handles it. And this is a service task, so it's an automated task, and we linked this actually to an email notification. So if I edit the email, I have everything that is needed to format my email and to define through also this expression language who I am sending it to and all the text and all those things. The next thing I need to do also is to assign conditions to those routing links. So if I select here, for example, a link, it is assigned to a property, and the conditions will route based on data. On the data model, I can create those conditions also, using the auto-completion feature. The last thing I need to do, of course, is to link my data stores, my data stores to my data classes. I do this through a very straightforward window here that is in this menu, and where I can say, well, this data store maps to this data class. So once I do that, I upload my process to the server, and then it's pretty straightforward. I have this menu here that allows me to execute directly the application. So once again, here I recorded a little video to show you how execution would take place. So it actually creates the web app, deploys it, starts Tomcat in this case, and starts the browser pointing to the right URL. Then, okay, what I didn't show, of course, was the creation of the groups and the users, but I created 3 users. The first one is Tom here. Tom is logging, and he's going to create a purchase request, asking for a laptop. So this is a standard to-do list. So now, if he looks at the running instances of the process, he will be able to find the running instance. And we have a graphical follow-up feature that visualizes exactly where the process currently is. So now the next step is to actually log in as Lena. So Lena is Tom's manager. She's the one in charge of accepting the order. So she will just handle the task that appears in her to-do list. So she will add a few things in there. She's now currently validating the request. She will choose a supplier. She will actually describe the orders, the items that are part of the order here, so all this UI stuff that you see is automatically created for you. And after this automatic creation, you can, of course, customize anything. So I will show you the UI part just after this. But this is just to show you that the default behavior allows you to use a UI that is already quite effective. So the process here continues to unfold. Someone from the purchase department needs to connect to validate the request. Of course, we also have access to the history of who did what when. So now the last person who is going to log in is Max, who is in the purchase department. He sees that he has to handle this request. And well, he does so. He actually here doesn't assign a budget, meaning that actually it's a refusal. So because we have, so yeah, this is how the process ended with a request rejected through this link here. And actually, because we have this email notification, the person received an email saying that the request was rejected. What I have not shown you was actually the UI part. So I will be, if I go back here to my design environment, there's this graphical interface branch here, where I actually have a few things that are worth seeing. For example, I have here all the BPMN activities that are automatically generated for me. So each activity has a form assigned to it, and I can modify those forms directly through this form builder here. So I can modify the labels, the layout, all those things. I can create, new tabs here, new groups of fields for all those user tasks that were those forms associated with user task. Same thing for the business data. So we have defined orders, requests, and suppliers. All these are actually have forms that are assigned to them. So for example, a supplier has a form, and I mean the 4 generic forms that we offer are these. This is to create a new supplier, this is to modify an existing supplier, and this is just to access the details of a supplier. And the last thing that I want to show you is the navigation tree. So once you have created your process diagram, and once you have created the business data, you can generate what we call a navigation tree, which will actually provide, which will create for you a default workflow between the different screens that you have in the application. So here, the way it was created is first a login window, then access to the purchase request management application with the possibility of creating a new process, and also different things that you can do, like accessing the business data here. So of course here I can do many things, like adding very graphical charts. There are many things that I could do to customize this navigation tree. For example, if we take a look at this action here, that was this view here was customized in order to offer a customized view of suppliers. If I go back actually to my application and connect to the application as an admin, I will be able to see everything then. So now I connect to the application. So this is actually the view that I was just showing. So it provides a customized view of suppliers. They are ordered here by a tree of suppliers. And for each supplier, I have a list of orders that are related. And here, everything I have anything that is needed in order to add new suppliers, and all those forms are actually completely generated automatically. Okay, so I'm almost finished. So to wrap up, I'll start my slideshow again. What we the summary is that based on their profiles, what we see is that customers tackle business applications either through process, data, or UI. So this is why we offer those different dimensions where people feel more comfortable and where they can go when they start creating their applications. W4 BPMN+ is a model-driven, data-centric BPMS. So I know John Reynolds from IBM last year, he had a very interesting presentation about data-centric BPM. So I think we're doing exactly this with this separation of concerns between data and process. What we also think is that being open and relying on standards and also using model-driven development helps a great deal, because it helps IT and business speak the same language. It also allows to be much more agile, and it shortens time to market. And of course, simplification is key, but we also think that zero coding is utopic. So what we see usually is that we can do a lot of things by simple configuration, but it always comes to a point where programming is needed a little bit for complex business rules. So the last slide is just coming back to this title. Actually, this was a colleague of mine, so he was actually saying, it's a play on words, saying that BPM-NEXT, of course, this event is great, it's needed, but also what we would need is BPMN extensions. And we would be very interested if, I think it would be a very good outcome if people like OMG could work more interoperability about UI and data as well. Because today, of course, our process models are interoperable, but the UI stuff is more our stuff, and well, the data stuff is UML, so it is interoperable. But it would be very interesting to have one global model that would be completely exchangeable. That's it.
Thank you very much. Very interesting.